I'm in Hong Kong. I'm having breakfast on the second floor of the Shengwan Wet Market. I'm sitting on this gray plastic stool, and I'm eating on this round wooden table. I order a Hong Kong style milk tea, cold. It comes in this Coca-Cola like bottle. And I order a saidosi, which is a Hong Kong style French toast. When the French toast comes, I can smell the burnt butter. I can visually see the gooey center, the peanut butter in the middle, the condensed milk oozing off the sides. I am delighted. I cannot wait to eat this thing. French toast is not necessarily a go-to breakfast item for me. I don't eat it every day. It is a kind of a treat yourself breakfast item for me, and today is just a treat yourself type of day. I love French toast. I love French toast because my grandma makes French toast. She makes the best French toast. And from 2001 to 2004, every summer I would go visit my grandparents' house. Sometimes 2 weeks, but mostly it was 2.5 weeks. But really it was like 3 weeks at a time every summer because I just love spending time at my grandparents' house. Their house was awesome. It was super cool. It was completely different to my normal middle school daily life. My grandfather has this green thumb, and so the garden in his backyard has several varieties of plants. He built this ground floor treehouse and this bridge to Terabithia like architecture around it that really encouraged, just for his kids and for the grandkids, just so we can just enjoy, have fun, use our imagination and our creativity and just explore. It was so fun spending hours and hours back there. And my grandma, and I would always go with my sister and with my cousin Mariah. We would always just end up spending our summers there. And we would spend in the backyard. We would go swimming in the public swimming pools. They would take us to Carl's Jr. to eat fast food and to go to like McDonald's for the big playground areas that they would used to have back in the back. And it was such a great time. But my most favorite time was in the morning. Was for breakfast, because for breakfast my grandma would make me anything that I want. She would say, "Mijo, what do you want for breakfast?" And I would say, "Grandma, I want French toast." And she would make French toast for me. But it wasn't your typical grandma's French toast. I don't know what these eggs had in them. I don't know what hormones were injected into these eggs. I don't know what butter was used, whether it was from Switzerland or Sweden, or whether, the frying pan came from some random place from like vibranium or something from this metal. But this French toast is not like any other French toast I've ever had. No place in the world can replicate this. It comes out as this dark golden brown with just syrup on top but still overflowing out. No peanut butter in the middle. Just a thick piece of toast. In the center, gooey, perfect, delicious, scrumptious. This French toast was life. It just hit different, truly. Every night at my grandparents' house, myself, my sister, my cousin Mariah, and my grandma, we would watch from 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. We would watch true crime documentaries. We just love watching true crime together. We just love it. And from 8 p.m. And onwards, we would watch. And it was getting late one night, and my grandma told me, "Mijo, you have to go take a shower." I said, "I don't want to take a shower, Grandma. I want to watch our true crime." She says, "You got to take a shower." Fine. I get up, I go to my room, I grab my towel, I grab my extra clothes, I go in the washroom, I close the door, I turn on the water, I look myself in the mirror, and I think, I don't have to take a shower. What I can do is I just wet my hair a little bit, sprinkle some water on my skin. That's it, I took a shower. So 1 minute, in, out, I'm outside. I'm looking at my grandma, and I sit down back in front of the TV. I haven't missed a single minute of our true crime. My grandma looks at me, she says, "Mijo, did you take a shower?" And I said, "Yes." "Feel my hair, Grandma, feel my hair." "It's wet." She says, "Yes, it is." So we're watching our true crime. A few minutes later, my grandma goes and walks towards the washroom. She says, "Mijo, come here." I act like I didn't hear her, because it's getting to the best part. We're about to find out who the murderer is. She says again, "Mijo, come here." Okay. I get up, I leave my sister and my cousin Mariah there, and I get up and I go. I'm walking into the hallway towards the washroom. This hallway is very, very narrow. And there are 3 rooms. 2 of the doors are bedrooms. The door to my left is the washroom. And my grandma's standing right in front of the washroom door. And she's looking at me. She says, "Mijo, did you take a shower?" She only has to ask once. And this one time of her asking, the stories that my father would tell me are starting to come back to me. The stories of how his mother would punish him and discipline him and his brothers and sisters. And I remember hearing my cousin Mariah, because she's a pretty naughty person sometimes, and she would disobey from time and time again. And as we were watching, my sister and I would watch true crime. She would take my cousin Mariah out into one of the rooms, close the door, and after a couple minutes, all I could hear was and the screams, the cries. And I know in this moment I have to fess up. I don't know what's happening behind that door, but I don't want it to happen to me. So before I open my mouth, and before I can even say anything, my grandma says, "I know you didn't take a shower." I don't say it out loud, but I think, how? How do you know, Grandma? She says, "You may have wet your hair. You may have sprinkled water onto your skin, but the towel was dry."
Wow, life lessons.
Dang it, true crime! You didn't teach me anything. I go take a 30-minute shower. It's the longest shower of my life. The next morning, I'm sitting on the dining room table that's in the kitchen, and my grandma's already there in the kitchen. And she looks at me and she says, "Mijo, what do you want for breakfast?"
Aww.
And I'm eating my French toast in Shangwan on the Shangwan Wet Market on the 2nd floor. And I finished my saidosi, and it was freaking delicious. But nothing will ever be sweeter than the moments that I spend with my grandma. Thank you.